Hi guys and welcome to a new video for Infinity Kingdom. This is Pyakia from server 49 and I am going to talk today about building Fire Marsh. But this video will be a little bit different from any other videos that I made from building any kind of marches, because building fire is kinda different from any type of fire marches. So let's discuss and discover how to build this fire marsh. First of all, let's talk about how the fire marsh contains, and it contains of the front row, and it contains from Hippolyta. This is important because Hippolyta's is free to play and you will need her in any type of marshes that you will use, because Hippolyta's counter any kind of boss. I will make a spotlight and a specific video for Hippolyta. And also you need William. William is a frontline immortal that leads cavalry for fire element. In late game servers could use Trajan. Trajan is a defensive fire immortal. Also for the back row you can use Embrisu, and this is the main source of damage. You can use a support like Cyrus, or you can use a back row immortal physical damage dealer, and I don't recommend any of those immortals. You can use Akshan or you can use Sinduke. I don't recommend using a physical damage dealer in fire, except if you are using Trajan, William, Embrisu, and Sinduke. This formation is better than any other formations, but for myself I prefer Embrisu, Cyrus, William, and Hippolyta. You can, instead of Cyrus, you can use Gilgamesh early game as a Gilgamesh in any the Holy Immortal in any second fire. You can see in game for free-to-play players. Why Gilgamesh? Because Gilgamesh you can buy his shards from the shop using crystal souls, instead of Cyrus that includes King of the Hill event, or buying his shards from the daily deals. So using Gilgamesh is a bonus in the fire marsh because he is a physical damage dealer and he deals a massive kind of damage and ends the fire fight in the fire marsh early. As for the skills, let's check the skills for the fire marsh. As you see here, I'm using fire marsh as my second marsh. Regarding these skills, you need annihilation for Embrisu, and you would use fire nova or concentration or toxin nova. Of course, because Embrisu in the fire marsh deals critical damage, you would need chase. I'm using Cyrus, so I'm using sacrifice and assist to assist Embrisu. Also absolute defense, so he can block damage. For the auras, of course, you need weakness. You could use malice instead of here misleading. I'm using misleading because it's optional. And let's just check here. Okay, I didn't do anything mistakenly. So let's check the fire marsh. So using weakness and malice to counter any crit from the enemy immortals, and of course don't use this rage. I'm using rage blessing because most of the enemies I face are using energy suppression, this skill here. So I'm countering this skill by using rage. So I'm countering the other skill using rage. And of course I'm using fighting will. I could use cleave on William or on Hippolyta, but I'm using my immortals here. As you see, I'm having William's exclusive artifact, and William's specialties is to increase the critical damage and the crit rate for the fire immortal, and I'm playing all in to cover Embrisu and make Embrisu deal the massive damage. For Hippolyta as well, you can use the grace skills, Oaken Guard, Resist, depends on your situations, but I'm not using Oaken Guard on my Fire Marsh. I'm facing Fire Marsh against Water Marshes, or Lightning Marshes, or Shadow Marshes, so I'm not using Oaken Guard because I'm not putting my Fire Marsh against marshes that deals physical damage. Instead, I can use my other marshes. So here, because I'm using this marsh, you can use Oaken Guard if you are in early game, and facing Water Marsh, and the fight will extend over 30 to 40 seconds. So Guard will make you sustain better in the early fight, so it gives you reduced physical damage for the early 18 seconds. So as a bonus here, you will not change these skills. Toxin Nova, Chase, in early game you can buy Concentration instead of Annihilation, and Weakness is a bonus here. It's not a bonus, it is an important skill, and it is something necessary. Also Malice, it is necessary if you are facing Fire or Shadow Marshes, and any typical kind of skills for the support here. If you are using Gilgamesh instead of Cyrus, you could use skills like Anger. Let me check it here. Dual Master, Anger for Gilgamesh, and also Death Breath. You can deal damage using Gilgamesh, or you can use it on Hippolyta to deal some damage. And of course, instead of fighting well, if you don't have it, you can use Cleave. Some players can use, for example, here the aura. I saw a person build Shelter. Let me check for the Shelter, and used Berserk instead of Malice. I don't recommend this build. He was using this build to heal more on the fire. I don't think that the Fire Marsh can fight for extend fight that can heals. So I recommend to use the skills to finish the fight as soon as possible. So I'm using Sacrifice to decrease the damage for Cyrus. I don't need any damage from Cyrus, I need the damage from the other Immortals. And for the early game fights, why I started with the end game Fire, because only Empress Wu you can buy his shards from the continuation of relics, and in early servers it will be so difficult to buy her 60 shards using 120,000 valor marks. And of course you can buy William fragments, Frederick if you want to use Frederick. Frederick is a damage dealer in the Fire Marsh. He's a spearman, but not most of players use Frederick in the Fire Marsh, but you can use him in early game to play in the Fire Marsh if you don't have all the Fire Immortals, but his skill is only dealing damage. Of course, Ashoka is a bonus here, but why I prefer Hippolyta and William. William's skill, as you see, he enhances the crit rate and the crit damage for the Fire Marsh and dealing massive damage. And of course Hippolyta is countering any kind of bosses, so you will build the Hippolyta even if you don't have the Fire Marsh as your main marsh or second or third marsh, because Hippolyta's skill is so OP and her artifact is free to play, so you can build her exclusive artifact free to play and have this immortal. You can buy her shards from the arena or from the shop after summoning here. Also William, you can summon him from the Hall of Immortals. Only Empress Wu, Cyrus, you can get those Immortals, Empress Wu from the Continuation of Relics, Cyrus from King of the Hill and the daily deals after you unlock him, or from Terianofi of Fate. Ashoka, you can summon him, and for Syndiuk from the special bundles here after some seasons. Let me check for Syndiuk. Here she is. You can get those shards from the special. Let me check here. I have a couple of her fragments. I think here she is. So this is Syndiuk fragments. I have 30 shards for her for now. And for early game, you can, as I said, you can replace Cyrus with Gilgamesh. You can replace William or Hippolyta with Frederick till you get William or Hippolyta as you desire what Immortals you want to play. But if you wanna play with Empress Wu, 100% go for William, even if you are going to use Frederick with William, or Trajan with William, or Trajan with Hippolyta. You have multiple options in the late game. I hope you learned everything about Fire Marsh. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to ask me in the comment section below or check my Discord. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.